Do you ever feel a knot in your stomach when you have to spend money, even on things you need? You're not alone. This isn't just about being frugal. It's a deep-seated psychological phenomenon. Let's dive into the fascinating psychology behind why some people absolutely hate spending money. First, let's talk about pain. Yes, pain. Neuroscientists have discovered that for some people, the brain regions that light up when we experience physical pain also activate when we spend money. This is called the pain of paying. For tightwads, this pain is incredibly intense. It's not just a metaphorical sting. Their brains are literally reacting as if they're getting hurt. So when they swipe their card, it feels like a small, sharp jab. In contrast, spendthrifts experienced very little of this pain, making it easy for them to part with their cash. Where does this intense pain of paying come from? A lot of it traces back to our upbringing. If you grew up in a household where money was tight, where every dollar was counted, you likely developed a scarcity mindset. Your parents might have constantly worried about bills or argued about expenses. This environment teaches you from a young age that money is a precious, limited resource that must be protected at all costs. Spending it feels like losing a piece of your security. You might find yourself still using worn-out items long past their prime because the thought of replacing them triggers that old anxiety about financial instability. Even if you're financially comfortable now, those early lessons are hard to unlearn. Then there's the opposite end of the spectrum. Some people who grew up with financial instability become big spenders as adults, almost as a way to rebel against their past. But for many, the lessons of scarcity stick, creating a lifelong habit of extreme frugality. Another major factor is our need for control. Money often represents more than just purchasing power. It symbolizes security, stability, and control over our lives. When you have a healthy bank account, you feel prepared for emergencies, for the unexpected twists and turns of life. Spending that money can feel like giving up a piece of that control. It's like lowering the walls of your financial fortress. This is especially true for people who have experienced a sudden job loss, a major health crisis, or any other event that made them feel powerless. Hoarding money becomes a way to reclaim that sense of agency and protect themselves from future vulnerabilities. Every dollar saved is another brick in their wall of security. Let's not forget about loss aversion. This is a powerful cognitive bias discovered by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. Simply put, the pain of losing something is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. Losing $100 feels much worse than the joy of finding $100. When you view money you own as something you could lose, spending it becomes incredibly difficult. Every purchase is framed not as a gain what you re-getting but as a loss what you re-giving up. A tightwad doesn't see a new pair of shoes. They see $100 vanishing from their account forever. This loss aversion makes them extremely cautious and hesitant to part with their money. Personality traits also play a significant role. People who are highly conscientious, organized, and plan for the future are naturally more inclined to save. They derive satisfaction from seeing their savings grow and meeting their financial goals. For them, saving is a disciplined practice that aligns with their core personality. On the other hand, someone who is more spontaneous and lives in the moment might find it easier to spend. There's also a connection to anxiety. For some, financial anxiety is a constant hum in the background of their lives. Hoarding money becomes a coping mechanism to soothe that anxiety. The growing number in their bank account acts like a security blanket, providing a sense of calm. The thought of spending that money and seeing the number go down can trigger a spike in their anxiety, so they avoid it. Now, let's talk about the paradox of choice. We live in a world with endless options. Want a new phone? There are hundreds of models. Need a new coffee maker? The choices are overwhelming. For some people, this abundance of choice leads to decision paralysis. They become so worried about making the wrong choice of not getting the absolute best value for their money that they end up making no choice at all. This is known as analysis paralysis. They'll spend hours, even days, researching a product, comparing prices, and reading reviews, only to feel so exhausted and overwhelmed that they just give up and don't buy anything. The fear of buyer's remorse is so strong that they prefer the certainty of keeping their money over the risk of making a suboptimal purchase. So, how do you know if you've crossed the line from being a responsible saver to someone whose fear of spending is negatively impacting your life? It's about balance. Saving for the future is smart, but it's also important to enjoy the present. If you find yourself consistently denying yourself basic comforts, experiences that would bring you joy, or even necessary items, it might be time to reevaluate your relationship with money. Are you sacrificing your well-being for the sake of a bigger bank account? Are you missing out on creating memories with loved ones because you're too focused on the cost? If this sounds like you, there are steps you can take. Start small. Create a guilt-free spending fund. This is a specific amount of money you set aside each month purely for discretionary spending. It could be for a nice dinner out, a new book, a trip to the movies, anything you want. Because this money is already earmarked for spending, it can help reduce the pain of paying. You gave yourself permission in advance. Another technique is to focus on value, not just price. Instead of thinking about the money you're losing, reframe it. Think about what you're gaining. You're not just spending $50 on a concert ticket. You're investing in an unforgettable experience and a cherished memory. You're not just buying a new coat. You're investing in warmth and comfort for the entire winter. Shifting your mindset from cost to value can make spending feel more like an investment in your happiness and well-being. It can also be helpful to automate your finances. Set up automatic transfers to your savings and investment accounts. Once that money is out of your checking account, you're less likely to feel like you're re-spending it from your primary pile of cash. This creates a clear distinction between money for saving and money for living. Ultimately, understanding the psychology behind your spending habits is the first step toward building a healthier relationship with money. Whether you're a tightwad or a spendthrift, the goal is to find a middle ground where you can secure your future without sacrificing your present happiness. Money is a tool, and it's meant to be used wisely, of course, to build a life you love. If you struggle with severe financial anxiety, it might be helpful to talk to a financial therapist or a mental health professional. They can help you unpack the deeper reasons for your behavior and develop strategies to cope. Remember, you're not just managing numbers on a screen. You're managing your emotions and your well-being. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on spending money? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insights into the psychology of our daily lives. See you next time.